Hello and welcome to FutureFi, where we talk about anything and everything on the blockchain. Today we have Andras on the show, who is the CEO and founder of Galaxis, formerly known as EtherCards. And on this episode, we talk about Andras' history in the space and his story of building one of the first Bitcoin ATMs, the importance of utilities on NFTs, the Galaxis platform, and so much more. So let's just get right into it. Hey Keith, super excited to have you co-hosting the show with me today. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. This is we got a really exciting project that we're going to be covering here with Andras. I know he has a great platform, a lot of history in the space. We're going to touch on some really interesting topics, man. Let's get into it.
Yes, we are. So Andras, how you doing, man?
Hello. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for coming. We got so much to unpack today. Just for our listeners, we would love for you just to talk about yourself a little bit and start to work into the project that you're working on.
So I've been a technologist for more than I want to remember, and did bigger and smaller companies through my career. Started to do startups earnestly in about 10, 15 years ago. And I got into the blockchain space in 2013. As we remember, at least some of us, 2013 when Bitcoin was $30 and Ethereum did not exist. So we built the first Bitcoin ATM in Asia back in 2013 and deployed it in 2014 February. Well, after that,
let's take a second there.
Sure.
I really, with everything that you've done, we got so much to talk about, but I really want to highlight that. So in what year and what did that process look like, building one of the first Bitcoin ATM machines? That's, to me, I'm geeking out on that a bit. That's so amazing.
So that was actually a very fun project. We got these. We got these terminals from China, which is like the standing terminal with the touchscreen,
Mm-hmm.
and we built in money dispenser and money changer hardware, so you could walk up to the machine and either buy or sell Bitcoin, and you either paid with cash or got cash out of the machine as you sold your Bitcoin to the machine. And it was a great experience. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it seems like at that time, 2013, the people that would jump on projects like that were true enthusiasts that saw the vision, because at that point, people are skeptics now. Imagine then, 2013. So for you to be involved at that level, I just think that's amazing. I think speaks volumes to your dedication to the space.
It was obviously, like everything great, it was a sequence and set of happy coincidences, how I actually learned about the space and decided to engage. But definitely after understanding the potential, that the simple fact that you could actually use this system to transfer value between two people anywhere on the planet without having to trust a third party was revolutionary. And we did see this.
That's amazing. At that point, was there any KYC involved in this transaction, or was it, in the early days when it was a bit more?
No, there was no KYC.
So it was in the rawest form of, the network being at its rawest point. And that's amazing.
Yes, there was obviously plans and indications that KYC will be needed. But I think in the first iteration, there was simply no KYC. And as long as the Bitcoin transaction went through, it did work.
Wow. Very cool. Well, sorry, I know you have a lot more to talk about. I just had to dissect that a little bit, because I know personally, sure. I just think it's a part of your history, and it's such a fascinating point to me. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it was great, and there are indeed many great stories. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but maybe I mention mention this one, that when we announced it, we actually that was in a cafe in Singapore, and we got really scared because we got like 40 journalists and 4 TV crews showing up at the time when we announced it, and that was the time when we started that I realized that I forgot to set up the machine with internet, so we could not demo. but it was set up to attach itself to my phone's Wi-Fi sharing. So I quickly switched on Wi-Fi sharing, but for the next 1.5 hours I could not leave the proximity of the machine. Wow. Because then it would have lost internet.
The small details no one knows, but behind the scenes you're just making it work, problem solving at every point of the whole day. That's amazing.
Yeah, and it was actually went perfectly. There was no hiccups in the demo, which is amazing even today. Anyway, so after the machine, we did realize that Bitcoin ATMs are not going to be the pinnacle of business development when it comes to blockchain technology. And we wanted to see what else we can do. The premise was there, and we wanted to build a system where anybody can issue their own tokens and make it exchanged by anybody else's token. Again, there was no Ethereum to work on, so we picked the next best thing that was available at that time, and it was Ripple. We took Ripple, we removed XRP because surprise, you don't actually need XRP for Ripple to work, and we built in ring signatures from Monero to make it more private. This was basically a distributed asset management system when anybody could issue their own tokens and set up exchanges against all the other people's tokens. Again, it was very early, 2014, no Ethereum. We did get a little bit of traction, not terribly much. We got some investments from VCs, but eventually in 2015, when Ethereum beta came out, we realized that that is fundamentally a better technology for the future. So we dropped our tech and we started to work on Ethereum. So we have been working and building on Ethereum since the beta days. We worked with several other companies, usually working behind the scenes, working with and for Ethereum Foundation, Consensus, and others. And then slowly, we also got introduced to NFTs. That was like 4 years ago now, and at that time, nobody knew much about NFTs. We also, it was the potential in the technology was really clear from the beginning. And after we went through the first phase of, we can put a JPEG on the token, then we actually wanted to see what else we can do with the tech, what kind of utility we can build in. So we built ticketing systems, we built meaningful connections between physical objects and NFTs. But that was like 3.5-4 years ago, and nobody gave a damn. It was very difficult to do anything with it. And so we started to do other things as well, keeping NFTs in the back burner, implementing utilities on them. And then the time came that we got a fund from the Ethereum Foundation to build an educational project. Educational project was great because we could actually build a system which was kind of working with micro certificates and even had a built-in protection against the knowledge going obsolete. So people could actually tell whether this certificate, which was actually an NFT you got, was actually covers knowledge that is still relevant or already obsolete, which is very important because, as we know, in our space, sometimes knowledge gets obsolete like 3 or 4 months after it was discovered. So it was good. I'm sorry, I don't want to do a monologue. So if you have any questions, please just ask. But this leads directly to Ether cards because when we implementing it, we realized that it is going to be very difficult to fund this project. Frankly, blockchain bros and people with money on the blockchain, they only interested in DeFi. They were only interested in DeFi. And if there was no ERC20 token to ape in, there was no number go up, there was no money. for any other project. Also, traditional VCs will not touch anything like this because if we are implementing a blockchain system properly, open source, open ecosystem project, not taking customer data, then they are mostly not interested because
it's tough to monetize there. It's
because if they cannot sell your customers' data, they are not interested in what you build.
Yeah.
So basically, there is a huge amount of projects on the blockchain that are not getting funded in other than being given donations like Gitcoin, and all that great initiatives were created because there is a huge gamut of important projects that are social goods projects, helping people, or educational projects, or ecosystem projects that are not getting funded because there is no way to speculate with them, and that's unfortunately the truth.
That's an unfortunate part about the industry right now is it's all about investments and making money off the technology, but the future I see is like the implementation and utilization of this technology helping everyday life. Right now, it's simply used as an investment vessel. So I completely hear what you're saying, and
and I would even say it's not even investment; it's more like highly speculative investment.
Exactly, 100%.
Which is not sustainable. You can't expect to double, tenfold your investment per day, let alone per month, which some people got accustomed to, especially during the ICO era back in 2017. And that's not going to happen. It's not going to grow forever. As they say, trees don't grow to the skies.
I like that.
So basically, what we figured out after thinking about it, that it is actually possible to create a funding and monetization system utilizing NFTs that can be used by any project or any entity or any person with a community that is interested in that person or entity or project. So we wanted to, based on that, we started to build a system that became EtherCards. EtherCards is, and now it's called Galaxis. Galaxis is a funding and monetization framework that enables anyone or any entity to fund and monetize themselves by growing and engaging their community and monetizing their own creativity. So that was the origin of what EtherCards was. It's a funding and monetization system that was designed to be able to fund open source projects, academic research, or anything that people think that is useful for them.
Yeah, and you kind of walked right into our next question, which was, hey, so what is EtherCards and what was the inspiration for that? So you took the words right out of our mouth there, which is great. With that said, why is this overall? Why would you say that this project has become important to you?
Because what it can enable is to enable creative people to monetize their own creativity. If you think about it, when the internet happened and the internet gained traction in the early 2000s, all creative people realized that suddenly they got an audience of 3.5-4 billion people.
Right.
But they also lost the ability to monetize their own creativity because it was so easy to copy and there was no proper way to actually monetize your creativity unless you went eventually with some big players and you paid 30% or 50% of the incoming money to Apple, to Spotify, to others, or you tattooed advertisement on your forehead for Google. There was no other way to actually directly reach out to your community and gain benefit from that. And what this technology, what blockchain and NFTs can actually enable for creative people to directly reach out to their communities without having anybody or any entity as a third party between them, and gain benefit from the engagement.
Absolutely. And that is an incredible aspect that I think that's often that's easily overlooked, especially if you're not in the NFT space.
Yes.
I know another space that I'm in quite a bit is the gaming community, and there is severe animosity towards the NFT community because they don't want it. They think it's just a cash grab. They don't understand what it could actually offer the community, and it can offer incredible benefits, right?
Which is kind of it's from the outset. If you are not part of it, you cannot deny that it looks like a cash grab.
Absolutely.
Because it's highly speculative, and and frankly, when you see that everybody's grandmother is creating 10,000 collections of various animal parts, then you kind of see that there is no actual value in it. It is purely speculative,
Right.
and this is something that we need to understand, that just because we've got a phase like this, that doesn't mean that this is the end of the thing, end of the technology. As soon as you are able to attach utilities to something, to an NFT, for example, the speculative part melts away. Because if you think about it, you can only speculate with things that doesn't have utility. Because if there is a utility on it, there is no speculation. You know exactly what it is good for and what it can be used for.
I love that. I kind of want to move into, what does the experience of someone using your product look like? You mentioned a user can use the product and then use it in their community. If you can walk us through, I think our listeners would also love to hear a bit more of the details there.
Why don't I give you a couple of examples from different parts? Because what is interesting,
perfect.
Because what is interesting here, that you will see that this technology can be applied anytime when there is a community that is interested in a person or project or business. And that's all that is needed, whether it's an open source technical project or a cosplayer or an artist or actor or athlete or anybody else. As long as there is a community that is interested, and as long as the person or entity can provide value to that community, this thing can be applied with NFTs. Let me give you a couple of specific examples. Imagine that you are a developer and you want to create an open source trustless VPN. Okay, just an example. So you want to create a VPN which uses blockchain for micropayments, and you say, okay, this is who I am. I want to create this VPN, and I'm going to issue this 100 NFTs. These NFTs will, if you buy them, it will give me sufficient funding to bootstrap the project and build the technology. And once the technology is up and the VPN is operational, all of these 100 NFTs will give the owners a 50% discount on the service. So what do I do if I want to use a service like this, and if I afford it? I will buy one of these NFTs and I will keep it until the project is up and running. Once the project is up and running and it is indeed providing an actual service where I can use it, then a 50% discount on a service that I want to use it is very valuable. So I have an NFT that I bought, and I can use it to get a 50% discount as long as I use this service. And if I don't want to use it, then I can sell it. It's an NFT. It's trustless. I can give it to somebody else, and somebody will buy it from me. But they not buy it for 100 times the price, because it would be crazy in terms of what this NFT can do. This NFT can give you a 50% discount on a VPN service. I will definitely can make some extra money on it, but it cannot go speculative because there is an actual use for it. And in this way, you who created the service can actually have loyal customers. But once you have a service up and running, you can't keep issuing 50% discounts, because that's not a thing. You cannot run a business by giving a 50% discount to anybody. But what you can do, you can give out NFTs that give, let's say, 3 to 6 month usage at a 5 and 10% discount. So you give out these NFTs, people can buy it and use it like almost like a user account or a prepaid card that will enable them to use the service at a discount. Also, since you can put utilities on these NFTs, you can put utilities that make sense in the context of your business. For example, you are an expert in decentralized technology and privacy. So you can put a utility trait on the NFT that enables the owner of that NFT to burn that utility trait for a 1-hour meeting setup with you. So you are an expert. You are one of the experts on the field, and you are obviously an expert because you are running this service. And I have questions about my privacy. When I buy this NFT, I might actually look for the specific one that has the 1 hour meeting utility trait on it, and I buy that because I want to get the information from the horse's mouth, from the best source. And this would work in a lot of different scenarios. For example, you are a researcher doing ZK snarks. ZK snarks is like the closest thing to magic in real life that I ever experienced. And getting somebody explain it to me would work for me to buy an NFT, support them, and get a potentially 1-hour consultation about ZK snarks. But if you think about it, this whole thing can actually be applied to other use cases as well. You buy an NFT, a piece of art from an artist that you actually like and support. Imagine that you may actually have again a potential to meet that person directly or virtually and talk with them, ask them to draw something for you. And this is good for you, obviously, because this kind of experiences cannot be expressed in money, especially if that person gets famous, like in 5 years or something. And also, this is good for the artist because they can get direct connection with people who obviously support and like and pay for their art.
So well said. I'm completely on board with everything you just said, because when these NFTs, you treat them as, access, and you can apply so many other things to it. And you can say, for this hour meeting, you also get a discount on this. And what it can do for businesses and it just helps facilitate all the small transactions that were super hard to keep track of prior to this technology entering the space. Yeah. So well said.
And it seems to be actually needed and wanted by people. We actually did a drop for Mike Tyson back in August last year. And I was told that one of the NFTs of the 531 that was issued for Mike Tyson actually has a utility trait that you can use to book a meeting to go to his ranch and meet the man, and even to spar with him, to box with him. So amazing. We are also working with now. You can see in galaxis.xyz. The sports initiative that is a project that we are building with a group of amazing athletes. Some of them are part of the American Olympic team, and you can expect very similar things there as well. You can buy an NFT to support them and to support the future generations of athletes, because believe it or not, Olympic champions are not being overpaid. You can support them, and you may actually end up with an NFT. And this is just an example, not a specific thing. That, for example, you can get a 2-hour training from the Olympic champion of snowboard or something, because they are supporting the project, and this is one way they can support it with. And these kind of experiences, direct accesses, and access traits are the fundamentals of the Galaxis platform.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that we're tying it back, because that's something with the Galaxis platform that we're looking at. Because you actually split out. You have an NFT yourself, and you have the Galaxis platform. Can you give us can you differentiate between those two?
Oh yeah. The Galaxis platform is. So our NFT in many ways is just one Our NFT is not our product. The product is the platform, which is able to issue NFTs. And our NFT is just one of the NFT sets that issued from the Galaxis platform. And let us discuss it both, but let me start with the platform. The platform that is going to go live on the 1st of March has two major parts. One of the part is that enables you through a set of simple web interfaces to design your NFT, not only from the visual point of view, and yes, it includes layers, includes everything. Not only from the visual point of view, but also from the utility point of view, you will be able to select the utility traits that you want to put on the NFT, including how you want to put it there. Every NFT should have the same, or it's randomly distributed. All of that thing you can design. And once you did that, you can actually go ahead and design your sale as well. You want to sell this many NFTs for this price. You want to have a pre-sale. You want to have white lists and everything. And then when you are done, you can, we will deploy everything for you, including the smart contracts, including the sales page and everything else. And that is half of the platform. So in this half, ask.
Yeah, I was just reading about that earlier today. It really is an incredible platform and an infrastructure that you're setting up for future artists effectively, so that they can have this utility to implement it into their projects. Yeah. It's wonderful.
And I would say it's not only for artists. It is for open source developers, for actors, for anybody or any entity with a community. And that's basically, this is very important. I will tell you about some of the projects we are working with, and you will see how wide the net that this platform can cover. But anyway, so this is half of the platform. You will be able to design visually and utility-wise the NFTs that you think will make sense for your community. And then the second half of the platform that you can also deploy automatically, you will be able to deploy automatically with Galaxis, is we call the community space. The community space is a modular web platform where the NFTs that you issued will be immediately useful. So, for example, your community members holding one of your NFTs will be able to log into that platform with the NFT, no username, no password, and will build the NFT, and there they will have a chat platform that they can talk with each other, groups and not groups. They will have a built-in marketplace where they can buy, sell, make offers, and accept offers on your NFTs. It's not a generic marketplace. It's a marketplace for your NFTs only. There is also there will be also a built-in research tool where you can see what kind of NFTs from these particular collections are available in terms of visuals, artistic value, and utility. So you can actually look for a specific NFT with a specific utility traits. And then you can make an offer on that. And it's all within the community space. Very important. This is a space for your community only. Anybody logging in needs an NFT from your collection. And then,
yes,
I think in the future we will see more and more communities that are built around this kind of structures.
100%. I think I love what you guys are doing and really utilizing the technology and not, just bypassing the utility part, because the internet is obviously forever expanding, and having these unique keys to access different parts of it is the biggest fundamental shift of this whole technology. Right now, attaching a JPEG to it is great. Sure, buy low, sell high, that's a thing. But the utility of this technology is what you're embodying. And that's what gets me excited. That's what gets me out of bed with this stuff, is like, for artists to, like you mentioned, to facilitate one-on-one meetings with some of their biggest fans.
Yes.
That's a huge experience that it's no longer speculative. It's a utility that they're jumping in on, and they're using this technology to not pay some platform like whatever, Riverside FM, where you have to go on it. You're just using your key, and on the back end for the people as well, they're not having a huge CRM system, having everything this key can flow from any website, anywhere. Once it's set up, you're good to go. And I love that you guys see that and are making that bringing it to reality with a clean user experience, because once people see that part of NFTs, it will start to click. Because I can't tell you how many conversations I've had defending this space, right? It gets a little crazy sometimes, but I truly love it. It's an amazing problem that you're solving.
We think so too. And again, we have been thinking about this kind of problems for many years. And imagine that what you can do with this kind of things. For example, we are also working on building in a video streaming into this space. So anybody with the NFT, with your NFT, can come and watch the stream that you are doing only for the NFT holders. For example, we can have artists, musicians making a live show only for NFT holders, or that we can have an artist who dedicates like 1 hour of their day where they can actually create art live, and people can watch it as long as they are really supporters of that artist.
Yeah, and then what it could dual as too is like, say you support that, and once venues get a little bit more advanced, like when you purchase this NFT, it's lifetime access to said artist shows.
I have things to tell you. We actually started to work with. I don't want to say names yet because we don't have the final signatures yet. With an amazing group of people working with street art and to build an actual gallery, a real world gallery where NFTs will provide access to things. Imagine stuff like. We are talking about stuff that you will have a piece of art that is behind the glass, and if you have the right NFT, you can just walk up, do the transaction, and the glass opens, and you can just pick up the art and walk out of the galaxy.
And then another use case is like if you have when AR starts to advance, if you have the NFT, you could browse 3D art, say like some street art on a wall. Yes. If you own an NFT, you can add some art to that space.
Yes.
And you're a member of this gallery.
Yes.
And it builds and cultivates like-minded people, and it's an easy way to access them. We have amazing tools like Facebook, Instagram to network, but it doesn't do the community building right, in my opinion. There's just too much. Something like this really does it.
It does it wrong. Let me put it that way.
Totally.
There is a
totally. I totally agree.
Yeah, there is a. This is personal, but during the last several years, I ended up quitting from any service that asks for a username and password. The last thing that is still holds on is Twitter. But it's just question of time.
Yeah, this is an interesting concept too. I think Web 2, anything that if a transaction's less than $10, you are not paying that. You're just giving your data to this company.
Yes, exactly.
So a problem that I see Web 3 solving is taking out some of these companies and introducing blockchain technology to. For example, when advertisers pay Facebook for people browsing and seeing, giving attention to their platform, seeing their ads, future platforms could pay users directly for their attention. So these are the problems that this technology is solving.
Yes, and you know what? So we are building and we have built a complete funding and monetization framework where anybody or any entity, as I said, can monetize their creativity as long as there is a community around them. You know what is absolutely, completely missing from the whole framework? Advertisement. We don't have and we don't need any advertisement on any surface.
Can you say that? Was it advertisement?
Advertisement, yes, advertisement. No advertisements on any surface or any part of the process or the platform. There are no ads.
Yes, and that's an interesting thing that, and that's a whole space of this that's interesting to explore, because there's people in the metaverse already like capitalizing on how ads will be displayed in the metaverse. And
yes,
I think the right way to go about this is the user experience and fundamentally straying away from those like blatant ads everywhere. That's what I would like to see grow, but
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about it, if I'm part of a community where I'm getting value from that person or entity or company, I am there because I want to get that value. I'm not there to see the ads of somebody else. And in most of the websites, people need to put ads on because that is the only way to monetize themselves.
Yes.
And they get peanuts for their creativity.
Yeah, because there's that middleman there collecting all of it, and then this technology cuts it all out. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm so glad there's people like you building this out.
Yeah,
because without the infrastructure and the right software, this is simply a pipe dream, right? So people like you working on the ground level, getting this off the ground, man, salute to you, man.
Thank you. It's I have to tell you, it feels like for the last 1.5 years, we are living in a nuclear explosion in slow motion, as I used to say, because
I like that.
It's like being carried by an incredible wave, and that is an amazing experience. But yes, if it is successful and if it actually gains traction, the way how people think about monetizing themselves on the internet will fundamentally change. And that change will bring down companies that we think that are going to be ruling the space forever. And I don't think they will.
Yeah. I mean, a last example that I could see being applied is with all these streaming services popping up. Imagine if you just have like the top membership where your key opens all of them.
Yep.
And you're not paying, each one small amounts, pennies or whatever. And even in a platform like Spotify, where kind of like what Audius is doing with audio, like paying the artist higher. And yeah, NFTs are not just pictures.
Oh no!
The moral of the story.
No! And what is funny, because of the blockchain technology and because of everything else, it is actually possible to create a viable business model for a company like us, where we technically take next to nothing. We can survive, more than survive with like taking 1% of what you take, if it's your community.
Yeah, that's a great way to segue. Like, yeah, what is the business model on the side of it? Because you got to keep the lights on.
Really depends on. And when we are working with somebody for whom we are doing custom deployments of NFTs, then it's usually we take a lower double-digit percentage of their sale, and that's very straightforward. We are talking about, I don't know, 10%, 15% of a sale, and that can be significant, and that works as long as there is custom work to be done for a famous significant client or party. But when it comes to the platform will enable us to not to have to touch projects, and projects can actually deploy without us knowing about them. And in that case, the percentages can go as low as like 1%.
Yeah. And scalability, man.
Yes. And if you think about it, we are going to build a system in a way that if you decide, you can take all the Web 2 parts, including the source code of the front end and the back end, and even the code for the smart contract, and you take it for yourself and you run yourself. Because it's inevitable that for example, for the community space, this web-based system where people can log in with their cards into your community, that needs servers, inevitable. But we don't have to run those servers. We will give you the server code, ideally at the end, as simple as a Docker recipe, and you can run it for yourself. And in that way, you are absolutely independent of my companies, whether it exists or doesn't exist. You've got the smart contracts. It is on the blockchain. You've got the necessary interfaces that enables the interaction, and you are not depending on anybody.
Right. That true decentralization. And
Yes.
It's absolutely a wonderful thing. And so I do have to ask, though, for your platform, though, I mean, obviously formerly known as EtherCards, that's going to bring in the idea that it was on Ethereum. But have you guys, I'm assuming with the current narrative of multi-chain and cross-chain, you guys have looked into interoperability as well? What are your plans with that, moving to other layer 2s, other chains, etc.?
Yep. Layer 2s are coming up with the first of March release. You will be able to decide between Ethereum and Polygon, and soon after we're going to go for other EVM compatible layer 1s as well. For example, Clayton. Because practicality reasons, it is very easy to deploy on those as well. So we will expand the reach of Galaxis and dynamic utility-based NFT platform very, very significantly over this year. And we are actually working together with Chainlink, and Chainlink is coming up with their technology that will enable us to potentially deploy on 20 plus layer 1s.
That's right. The cross-chain interoperability protocol, correct?
Yep, that's right. And
absolutely, that's going to be massive this year. I'm looking forward to that as well.
And Chainlink is actually our technology partner and has been since the beginning. And I expect us to be one of the first and major customers of that protocol.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Chainlink. What they're going to do to the logistics space of companies is insane.
Yeah. So that is basically the platform. The platform, again, has two parts. I'm sorry, please ask.
No, I was also just curious because another narrative in the space, at least within layer 2s, is Starknet. Any plans of using Starknet, or
I need to look into that.
What are your thoughts on that?
I need to look into that. I admit ignorance in that. Okay, I'm making a note. I'm making a note here, and
sure.
I will get it. I will check it and get it checked with the developer guys. Yeah, we are looking for others. Yep. Yes, we did start in Ethereum, and for multiple reasons, including scalability and not scalability, but stability.
Yeah,
but stability.
Yeah. Hopefully they get to both soon.
Oh yeah. I'm really looking forward to the proof of stake deployment, ideally by June, and then finally we can get to scalability. So
yes, indeed.
So we'll see. But anyway, so basically the platform that we mentioned has these two parts. The self-service platform. One is where you can design your experience, including utilities, including visuals, including the sale. And the second part, where you can make these utility-based NFTs immediately useful. For example, the community space, this second part of the platform, will have the interfaces when you want to redeem physical redeemables, because many times we are creating NFTs for artists where they can put a physical redeemable utility trait on the NFT, and if you burn that, you will be taken to the website, to the web interface, where you can put in your name and shipping address and get, let's say, a high quality printout of the art of the NFT. And then that trait burns, so it can only be redeemed once. These kind of things are being used right now by artists, by even like, I think, LaMelo Ball, the basketball player, who is, by the way, our first major customer, also has physical redeemable traits.
Very interesting. And can I just shift gears just a little bit also to your NFT project, the EtherCards?
Yeah.
So, because I know big focus, one of the things that you guys looking, at least going back into your blogs, I was reading those as well. And a big focus that you guys have is with the project is gamification.
Yeah.
So you have implemented some gamification into your EtherCards, some things like the Forge, you got Magic Dust, the different statuses, if it's in pristine status, the Easter eggs. Could you share a little bit more about those? Because that's interesting to me as well. I actually have just a quick question on the Forge. Does that actually make that makes the EtherCards a deflationary asset, doesn't it? Because you're burning
The-
two. You're burning one to, or well, I guess two to make one. Correct?
That is correct. But right now, the forge is set in a way that the ether cards that you burn, that you give up, is not actually being destroyed. That is actually going to an address which we do have access.
Okay.
So I would not. So in other words, you can. And this is well-known information. This is not something secret. So
right, yeah, I missed it.
Forge can be set up to burn and destroy, but it can only be set up to send it to a jail, a so-called card jail or NFT jail, where eventually you as the project owner can access it. It is actually possible to set it up this both ways. For example, the forges that we are building for Steve Aoki's NFT projects, those really burn NFTs.
Yes.
So yes, it can be set in both ways. But what I see is what I would say that the ether cards, our collection is important for, because you having an ether card means you are getting a constant benefit from all the other projects deploying on the platform. Right. Over the past year, for example, you could get almost for every project either a pre-sale or a discount or both, or even free NFTs only by holding an ether card. And in the future, with the self-service platform going out, it will be even more pronounced. I don't want to jump ahead of myself. I don't want to announce what my marketing people are very carefully crafting to announce. But but with the platform coming up, holding an ether card will provide you continuous benefits, very tangible benefits of the platform. And the more successful the platform become, having one of the ether cards will be more and more beneficial or important.
Andras, I was reading it. It's amazing how the benefits these things. And honestly, as I was going through and reading them, I'd come across, I'd see some gamification aspect with it, and then like, oh, okay, well, I'm starting now. I know all the aspects to it, and then I would read a different thing that I could do with it, and then I'd read something else that I could earn, and to the point to where I think it's on your front page. It says that with the magic dust, you can actually earn a CryptoPunk.
Oh yes, oh yes, yeah, and. So what happened is back in February last year, a year ago, amazing, we bought 30 CryptoPunks for 20 ETH each.
Casual, only 30.
Wow.
It was 20 each. The floor punks were 20 each a year ago.
That's hard to. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's absolutely crazy. It's just a year, and what happened? And so the thing is, we promised at that time that we're going to give away the 30 punks to the community, but we cannot give it away as a raffle. That would be wrong, legally wrong, because that is a level of gambling that we are not into. So what we did is we created. We had the plans to create Dust for a long time, and we introduced Dust with the ability of the Dust pools. We put the CryptoPunks, actually 27 of the 30 CryptoPunks, into the Dust pools, and other NFTs are there in the pools as well. And as long as you collect enough Dust, you can redeem a CryptoPunk. And so far, 8 has been redeemed. So it's actually, if you go to our webpage right now, ether.cards, and you click on the Dust pools, you will see the pools, and you will see that I think it says 19 out of 27 is available for the punks. And how do you get Dust? By holding ether cards. Think about Dust as a constant airdrop. So what we did back in September, we dropped 30 million Dust on the 10,000 ether cards, but then we did not do more because we did not want to flood the market with Dust. But what is going to happen is 15th of February, in 6 days, we will switch on the Dust trickling. So every ether card will start again getting continuously every block dust that can be redeemed from the card just by claiming it, and then you can use that dust for getting any of the cards from the dust pools, or you will be able to use it to get extra features on your platform that you are creating, or you can use it to, for example, reserve upcoming drops. So there will be a lot of use what you can use dust for, and you can get dust for free as long as you own one or more Ether cards.
That's awesome. It's basically practicing what you preach. You're building this platform to enable people to do this, and you're showcasing your company. Look at what you can do with this technology. And I think that's just the best way to run a business is, using it yourself, showing everyone this is what it's capable of.
Thank you.
That's fascinating.
Thank you.
I love the creativity
it's been
behind
coming because we have seen many companies doing it wrong. And we wanted to see whether it can be done right as well. It's been a lot of work, a lot of experience, and quite a bit of luck as well. But I think we are in a space where we have the ability, the manpower, and the funds to build something that could potentially be extraordinary and change how creative people interact with the internet forever.
For sure. That is the metaverse.
Exactly. Right? Interact with the internet. That's the main point with NFTs. Yep.
Yeah.
So you mentioned people are doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that means a lot of people are in the space. And this is a tough question, knowing you're but what is your X factor you feel like is it going to make you guys cut through all the noise and leave your competitors in the dust?
I think it's eventually the same thing that might actually make Ethereum or has been making Ethereum a constant top project, because there is a constant innovation and strive to turn things better, to not to compromise. If you all know a lot about the technology and the space, and that many of the so-called Ethereum killers came in by consciously and knowingly compromising on some of the principles of the space, like giving up this distributedness for speed and similar things, and thoughting themselves, yes, we can do it 100 times faster, 1,000 times faster. But many times they did it because they basically ignored the fact that it is not trustless anymore. And I think if you work yourself into a position where you have the funds and have the resolve, then you can actually work towards doing things right, and eventually prove that indeed there are new business models that will work in this space. And we can actually do, for example, somebody can build a community between themselves and the people interested in them without having to advertise or pay double-digit percentages to anybody.
Exactly. No, I think you said it the best, and that's basically how I see Web3 right now is, yes, there's projects, they come and go, but it's essentially the teams and the people that you really have to get behind, because things are constantly evolving and pivoting. And if you're not in for the long haul,
yes,
these projects just fizzle away. And the fundamentals, it's the transparency of, the great projects. From listening, I heard 10 X factors that separate you guys. And,
thank you.
And this conversation has been amazing. I would love to kind of dive a bit more into how you've been growing your team and
Mm-hmm.
maybe talk about the
Mm-hmm.
less shiny parts of like what
Yep.
obstacles have you faced, and
Yep.
stuff like that, because everything's
I
amazing,
can do
but
that.
we
I
like
can do that.
to dive deep and keep it real.
There are. I learned a lot. I learned a lot, and I made a huge amount of mistakes over the period of this project alone. One of them is to learn who is your real community, and who are the bullies who are only interested in their own very short term interests and profits, and they are gladly will throw the project under the bus if they can make a 2x. And so one of the things is how important it is to cultivate a healthy and forward-looking community, and to keep up the discussions with them, but also to keep the important decisions, at least that is dependent on the project, to the person who can actually make that decision properly. It is an extremely sensitive topic, and it's a fine balance between DAOs and non-DAOs. And I do think that we still don't know the right way to do this properly, because and I think some projects are unfortunately going into head first into these situations where they let basically uninterested or uninformed people make decisions on things that are fundamentally risking the project. And I think it's very important to draw the lines properly. What you can have a DAO and the community to decide upon, and what you must not. So that is
absolutely.
So that was one of the big learning, and I am guilty of making promises that have hurt us and bite us back over the months. It feels like 10 years, but it was only a year. Yes. Oh yes.
Yeah, crypto years tend to seem quite long, but I mean, that humility, it's so rare, in this space. And I really respect you for sharing that, because, everyone likes to put their best foot forward and always be the best trader. I'm making the most money. I'm the crypto bro, like that's the worst part about this space. And I'm glad that you shine light on that as well, because, what's really going to make this stick around is the fundamental purpose of this technology, because people, brag, 2x, money is the root of all evil. And when that much gets around things, it does make it, a place that I don't want to be. But project like yours, people like you, fundamentally believing in the technology and putting it to good use, this is why I'm still around this space. I've fallen in love with it, because, it's something that I truly feel.
Yeah, I agree with that too, Jay, because that's key. The projects that are truly sticking to their values are invaluable. They truly are, and I appreciate that you are actually doing that too, Andras. That's important.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's so transparent from you. It really is. Like, just knowing how long you've been in this space, 2013, building Bitcoin ATMs, like this isn't something that you're jumping in, jumping out. This is someone that understands fundamentally what this technology can do and how it could benefit and solve problems, and not just seeing it for, an investment vessel. Because the people that see it like that, kudos to that, great for, like, they can do whatever they like, but it's people and projects that what you're working on that's going to make this stick around for the long haul, because you can't uninvent blockchain technology. You can't uninvent that network, that consensus mechanism. You can't go backwards now. The cat's out of the bag. So it needs to get into the right hands. And with your I feel like it has. Hearing everything about your project, it truly is really inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh yes, we can talk about
really
that.
interested to learn more about this.
Since we are talking about people putting money in, I think it's extremely important to highlight that indeed in this space you can do 10x, you can do 50x, you can do 100x. But if you do it, it's because you are lucky. It's not 100x or 10x or 5x returns cannot be sustainable, and that brings. Yes,
and that goes back to your point of speculation without utility. Or you said it better, but speculation.
Yes, exactly,
and this is very important. But when you add utility,
I just want to make sure that we
are
in the clear in this one. We said many times in this talk as well that I expect EtherCards holders to get benefits from future project. This is very important. This is not a financial advice. And you have to understand what you are doing. Otherwise, you will be separated from your money, whatever you do.
Yes, I'm actually an admin in a community, and it's unbelievable the number of people that come in, and they don't even understand what they're investing in. They're effectively gambling. That's what they're doing.
Yes, and every industry has its phase when it is gambling. I have seen it in the early 2000s in the internet when everybody's grandmother was building websites and getting millions of dollars for it. I think I remember the story. I think it was Elon Musk who said that when they were doing PayPal, suddenly they got a $5 million extra on their bank account because a Korean investment firm just sent them money because without actually papers or anything, because they wanted in so badly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's seriously so. It runs parallel with that era so well because you add a website to anything and VCs throw money. You add the term blockchain to anything, VCs throw money. And we've been here before, and the internet has been like failing to elegantly scale this whole time. Like it's failed over and over, and now we have this network that is so strong that we're able to compute and do these types of consensus mechanisms.
I think
this fast, like we are in.
I think if we navigate and negotiate the next couple of years and not being regulated into oblivion by the major players, then the technology will disappear and become a fundamental part of our lives, the same way as in the internet become. If you think about it, you don't remember probably because you guys are too young, but in the 90s you would see advertisements from tech companies telling that they are using databases, and then in the 2000s there was companies saying we have a web page, and now you say, of course you have a web page, of course you are using databases. What? Of course, because otherwise you could not exist. So what we need to reach, that blockchain will be the same, that you have to tell to that company, of course you are using blockchain, otherwise you would not be relevant, you would not exist. So the technology will have to disappear, have to sink into below the sight of the users. And that's what we need to reach to. Yes, and then we won in terms of the technology.
And so, and since we're heading in that direction, I'm sorry, I'm going to turn it back to your project. But since we're talking about the future here, I am interested to see what do you guys have planned for the future, though? I mean, what other how do you see this project developing as we start approaching, like you said, we start to approach that future where blockchain technology it's a thing, right? It's in the background and everybody accepts it, and it seems silly to say otherwise. But as far as your project goes, right now you have the platform and you have the NFT. What other facets are you looking at adding on?
I think the killer thing here is the combination of the NFTs with the utilities and the community space that will make these utilities immediately useful and usable. And the combination of these will develop into structures that can gain independence, gain autonomy. And yes, we are talking about DAOs with the right things being automated, the right things being given to their community. We are talking about things, and this is the very first time that I mentioned this, and I don't want to elaborate on this right now. We are building art engines. Art engines are going to be autonomous pieces of collections of arts that can potentially operate and evolve for decades or hundreds of years. Because if you think about it, all of us are mortals, but a community can be immortal. And we've got some concepts where we can take NFTs combined with communities, combined with the utilities, and combined with community spaces to turn them into autonomous entities that can evolve and can progress as long as there is interest, as long as there is a community driving them. So I think that's what I see, both from the art point of view and both from the business point of view, that we will have autonomous entities providing services to whoever would like to use these services. And that's what I would like to get to.
Are these those dynamic NFTs that I saw on your website?
This is more like the combination of dynamic NFTs and the community spaces. So the two parts of the platform basically provides one entity. And once we've got a little bit more advanced technology, when we will be able to put the interfaces into a trustless environment as well, we can actually create this kind of engines that with not necessarily, but feed off of constant interest from a community. It always needs people to drive. But as long as there is interest, for example, think about it. There is still a community who likes Beethoven, despite the guy being dead for many years, hundreds of years. So it is actually possible to create an entity that kind of encapsulates a small part of the essence of an artist and can evolve even if the artist is no longer with us.
Andras, that's such an amazing.
Yeah, that goes back to your immortal. Communities are immortal. That shook me. I got chills on that one. I was like, wow,
it's true. It's a fundamental aspect of being human as well. To have these communities and have them, and again, as you see them develop over time, but maintaining that core, their own core aspects, and you're enabling those things to stay alive on the blockchain. Is what you're looking at doing.
Yes, and that's basically what we want to do. So art engines will be the first one that is coming out, which is going to be a special type of community space together with the utility NFTs. And we already got people we are working on with this one. And this concept can be applied to other parts as well. And I don't want to get into too much details in that, but it is possible to create this kind of engines that will constantly create a stream of funds to, for example, for young athletes or young performers or people who are starting their business. And what I can see here, and again, we are deep into speculation in terms of the future, that it is possible that the next generations of creative people, including artists, including sportsmen or athletes or anybody else, will think of this kind of constructs as the obvious way how they are going to build up their career. So it's not going to be Nike who they are going to sign up with, or not going to be huge record labels, but they build their community, and since they are the direct beneficiaries of that community, they can actually live off it, and the bigger they go, the better it is for them, without having to have any third party who can constantly take most of their profits.
The ultimate future. Yeah, the ultimate future we're looking forward to.
100%. Yes. And you mentioned you had a project with Steve Aoki, who, if listeners don't know, EDM producer, and tours the world DJing, but exploring this technology specifically in the music space is explosive, because what it allows is I use my little background, I tried my shot at musicianship. I, toured the US 4 times, Europe once, and really, gave it my all. But so I learned a bit about it. And what it takes is, either signing to a label early and signing away 50% of essentially everything. Every deal varies, but for musicians, essentially with NFT and blockchain technology, people can not only support by sharing, but support, funds and marketing, and ultimately earn a small royalty.
So basically, you are an
to
early
incentivize
supporter.
the
You
whole
will
ecosystem.
be a late a beneficiary as well, and you have the right for that because you have been supporting this person who became a huge success. Absolutely, this is what I actually see. Yeah,
and me as well, because in the music space, when you really get into it, there is a huge community that really seek out new artists, and that's like a passion of people's, and they feel some type of way when they find a new artist. No one and it's small, and it's like their secret little gem, and this is a common feeling that most fans have. And what this allows is not only that, I seeked out and I found this underground music, right? I found the diamond in the rough. They're able to incentivize, and what that does, it provides that musician leverage, because they're good enough for people to support, but now they're building an ecosystem that can get this artist way up the food chain much quicker, without having to sell 50% of their whole thing to a record label that just turns and burns artists.
Would be able to do what the hell they want instead of what they are contractually required to.
That is another whole point of the record, because there's industry plans and we need another pop single, we need this, we need that. And ultimately what this allows is, governance of the music industry for fans, and, and then that goes back to if you purchase this early, you can get one-on-one time with your favorite musician. That is invaluable. Music changes people's lives. It's all kumbaya and sounds cheesy, but if you listen to that song at a certain point of your life and you get to meet that musician, that is simply just an amazing feeling. And knowing that blockchain helps facilitate that, because they didn't have to sign up for PayPal, they didn't have to check their email, confirm this, they didn't have to do everything and then text their mom their verification code. This technology made that possible and streamlined the whole thing. And
absolutely,
if you don't
and
see
this is
then,
basically what can be done.
wait.
So what we are doing, that I told you about these community spaces, but what we will be doing, that when you start your own community on Galaxis, you will be able to say, okay, I'm a musician, I'm a graphic artist, I'm a gamer, I'm so on. And you will be given some sensible defaults of how the community space, what kind of utility traits, what kind of things we think will be best for your community, and then you can build upon that. Because it's a process to figure out what exactly you want to give and what are all the different stuff. So it is possible to slowly go into
100%.
a direction where we can create these customized community spaces for musicians, for others, to make it very easy for them to directly connect with their community. And what I see is it's like a galaxy of communities. It's like self-contained, but loosely connected. Millions of loosely connected by self-contained communities working together but being independent. That's what I see is what the future will hold.
Right.
Wow. I mean, there's been so many great topics here. I really want to say thank you for taking the time and talking with us. I mean, you are a true pioneer in this space, and giving
thank you very much.
The time to speak to us.
It is incredibly important to
I
be
can't
able
thank
to
you
talk
enough.
about these, and it is not easy to find a platform like yours where the right questions are being asked and the right topics are being raised, which is which I think I should actually be thanking to you.
And we really appreciate that. That's really the goal of our whole community here, is to really demystify the blockchain space, ask these good questions, bring on these unsung heroes that aren't getting the platform, and give it to them so that we can share this information. It's important.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andras.
Welcome to FutureFi, where our mission is to educate and elevate Web 3.0. Prepare for exploration in 3, 2, 1.